In this video, I'm going to be explaining a fingering chart for recorder. This is an example of one I've given out in class. Looking at this fingering chart, you'll see big letters, notes on the treble clef staff, and then corresponding to that are representations of the recorder and where you place your fingers. Now this fingering chart is a little bit simplified because it's going to show you 6 holes in the front and then the thumb hole in the back. So we'll zoom in on a B, and right here, that's where the thumb goes. That would be in the back of the recorder. And then we have 6 holes. The top one is filled in. If it's filled in, that means we place our finger over it to cover the hole. So we're going to look at the note B. You will see it represented on the treble clef staff by that whole note. And if you look at the picture, you'll notice that there's a column of 6 circles going down, the top of which is darkened in, like you would fill in on a multiple choice test. And then next to that, there's another darkened in circle. The one off to the left represents the thumb. That would be on the back side. And the one on top is where you put your pointer finger. Now, normally a recorder would have a 7th hole. You'd be like a double hole at the bottom. You would need to play, say, a C, a low C. But this one is simplified. So you'll see 6 holes in front, the top which is covered. Then we have a treble C. If you're going from B to C, you would lift up the first hole and set down your second finger in front. And then if you look here, we have a high D. You would lift up your thumb and keep your second finger down. And eventually, we'll learn about some of the higher notes where you would open up a little bit of space on that thumb hole. Now what I'm holding here is an example of a fingering chart that may come with your recorder, especially if you have a Yamaha. Usually has something like this, different languages available. And it is, to be honest, a little bit confusing. I kind of stay away from these, but it's thorough because it shows you pretty much every note you can play on it. This particular example, instead of having the thumb hole shown off to the left, it'll have that tone hole on top of the diagram. And so it's a different note as you go across. So I'm going to show you the first few notes that we'll learn. My thumb is covered up and back, and I'm covering the top tone hole, and this is our B. I'm going to add a finger going down. Now I have a thumb and 2 fingers. That's our A. I'm going to add another finger, left hand on top. That's a G. And then if I lift the first and the third finger, that's a C.